Good day, people. The name is Liedeman. I'm the CEO and founder of Growcom, that stands for Growing Communities. I started in August 2012. I didn't know it's going to take me 12 years for it to take off. Now, Colonel Sanders, Raymond Ackerman, Professor Mohammed Yunus, who started the Grameen Bank, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs sleeps in the dormitory and sold cool drink bottles. Who would have thought a man that slept in police stations, slept by people, who picked up 5 and 10 cent pieces in the road in 2014 to phone a CEO of an insurance company who wanted to see him in Johannesburg, then had to hustle for plane fare and accommodation and coming back, would technically, in 2 years from now, be operating a business in the financial services and consumer goods with our own bank. I've been given the right by the Reserve Bank to start a mutual bank, and our own medical kit, a 200 billion rand a year industry. Do you think that is possible? In 2018, one of the biggest insurance companies and banks in South Africa called me in and said, do I know my model is a threat to the banks and the insurance companies? They were going to invest, then they pulled back. 4 companies over the last 12 years wanted to invest, and then they pulled back. 8 insurance products, some of them signed off actuarially, then they pulled back. Then I realized why we are a threat. But why did it take me 12 years? I had a training company in the insurance sector. But before that, I called brokers of different races together, and the words fell out of my mouth to start the Black Alexander Forbes. And during training over 4,000 insurance people, all by word of mouth, they kept on asking me, you've got the guts, why don't you start the insurance company? And I started in August 2012. But why did it take so long before I come to the model? What makes the model so different? The last 2 evenings I attended a UWC sport reunion. 90% of the attendees came from the class of 1975 to 1984. It's a cohort. We were like a small community, and everybody basically thinks the same. Who would have thought that I can run a national organization from the lounge in my house, on a cell phone and from a laptop? Technology has changed the way the world is going. Now the world is currently in a 3rd World War situation. I'm not going to go in the history. We're actually where we were in 1948. So you find there's a collapse of old control of the economy. So what is the Growcom model? The Growcom model is to build individual and generational wealth. Our eldest son is age 36. They got their own IT company. They employ 35 people. He said a number of years ago, he's still going to do something great. He doesn't know what it is. If you look at the contracts that he has, definitely they're going to be big. So what makes this model so different? South Africa has become the most unequal society in the world. I develop entrepreneurs. I get into people's heads. Before we come to how much money we're going to generate for our communities, I developed an induction training manual from a qualification called Wealth Management. It says there, to create a more equal society. And it says there, rerum cognoscerus, to know the causes of things, why the world economy is in the state that it is. But it also says there, from the sea to the pan to the oven, from the farm to the process, to the person. So the model is an economic model where we start in the financial services and consumer goods and then the bank and that. And a complete economic model that after about 5 years can be 600 billion. Now what makes the model so different? If you spend 30,000 Rand a year, we've been offered our own MVNO, a number of insurance products, 1 or 2 is going already. If you spend 30,000 Rand of your salary via our payment platform, we make an average 15 to 20% income per month. Come, let's work on 15%, be conservative. We make 4,500 Rand. 40%, this is where the model comes in, goes to Growcom, 1,800 of 75% are paid for our salespeople virtually, most of them virtually. You operate on your cell phone and that and networks. 25% Growcom. Then 2,700 after tax, and this is the differentiating factor. 1,080 Rand goes to Growcom. 1,010 Rand, 35%, goes to the client every month in a savings wallet. 25%, which is basically 670 Rand, goes to a school, a club, a community organization, and this is how we create wealth. Let me now take it further to the 200 billion Rand. And why will you think that is possible? I'm waiting for 2 training contracts because I train in the insurance, but I basically develop entrepreneurs for 25,000 people. We should have, within a few months, 50,000 salespersons nationally. So if we sell 200 billion, we're not into manufacturing yet, that will come. By the way, through the Ackerman family, I'm a member of the Consumer Goods Council. I have my own barcodes. I'm going to start a salmon and other fish and meat smoking business, which could be a billion Rand a year business, and create opportunities for many. So if we sell 200 billion worth of produce, we get 40 billion. 16 billion of that goes to pay people, 12 billion and 4 billion for Growcom for cost. 24 billion is available for distribution. Of that 24 billion, 40%, 9.6 billion, or make it 10 billion, make it a round figure, comes to Growcom shareholders. Then 8.6 billion, 35% goes to our 2 million clients. And then 25% of that 24 billion, 6 billion goes to our organizations. But that is not all. I'm a very giving person. All these people, Raymond Ackerman, Steve Jobs, Professor Muhammad Yunus, all of them were very giving people. Rajan Tata is the best example of that. That is what we need in the world. This model can actually be replicated worldwide. So 9.6 billion of the profit is Growcom's. Of that 4 can we make it 10? Because I've got 51% of the shares, 5 billion is mine. My children are okay. My grandchildren are okay. What I'm going to do with the money? So 40%, 2 billion, will go to my family, of which I will probably give most away to. 2 billion, and listen very carefully, why you should pick up the phone or send an email or make contact with us as of today. 2 billion rand goes in a wealth fund, almost like a sovereign fund, to build wealth in minimum 250 to 300 communities that we initially going to operate in South Africa. That is not all. A further 20% of my profit, 1 billion rand, goes into a business fund to create entrepreneurs. The aim is by 2030 to would have created 2 million income earning opportunities in South Africa. Listen, I say income earning opportunities. There are no jobs. If we want to make South Africa a more equal society, we need to create entrepreneurs. That is the first part of the story. There will be follow-up videos every week. The question is now, how do you get hold of us? My email address is leon.liedeman@growcom.co.za, growcom.co.za, and our website is www.growcom.co.za. So let us start creating a more equal society in South Africa, and I thank you very much.